All right. So again, I'm Matt with Elixir Practice Management. We're going to walk you through today the contact center module with Elixir. So we'll start here with the home page, just to kind of give you an overall idea of how things work in Salesforce. Just to kind of lay it all out. The system's set up with leads. So anything that comes into your system, whether it be from like your website or a phone call that's coming in or a form fill, maybe a live chat from your website, everything is going to come into the system as a lead first. During the lead process, typically what you're going to do is you're going to qualify the patient. So I'm just going to open up a lead here. That's already in the system just to show you this page. So if I was, working in the admission center, let's say Anna, she's already called. If the phone rings, I've got call tracking metrics integrated here. The phone will pop up. I'm going to answer the phone here. It's going to go, right through my headset, and I'll be able to manage the phone call from start to finish here. I'm going to find out who's Anna. Is she calling for herself or a loved one? I'm going to fill in all these details. Find out if she has any insurance. Maybe she's calling for herself. Do you have any private insurance or anything? So we have, the insurance fields that you would fill in here. We have also built integrations using a Salesforce tool called Digital Engagement, which would allow you to text or manage any Facebook messages that might come into the center as well. So that's an add-on, something that you can do. It's not part of your standard package. What we have found and other treatment centers have found is that, when it comes to, this business, getting someone back on the phone sometimes can be difficult. And text messaging, especially with the, 18 to mid 20s, someone would rather respond to you via text or Facebook than actually pick up your phone call. So we actually saw really a big jump in conversions when a treatment center would add the digital engagement to be able to text or reach out via Facebook. In this lead view, you may find that this lead is not a good fit for your facility. I'll just kind of highlight this and talk about it a little bit more in detail in just a second. If you wanted to refer out this lead, you could select this field here and you could actually do a lookup. You might have another treatment center, another, could be, some other organization that might be able to better manage this lead and than maybe you could. Maybe you don't take in-network Aetna. I'll show you how you could actually search for that in just a second. Any background information, maybe you want to know how they heard about you, some other questions. Self-pay, maybe they are calling without insurance, but you want to document somewhere what the self-pay amount is. So when we integrate your phone system with Salesforce, as long as your CTM is integrated with Google or any of the other platforms that they have available, we can pull in all these different analytic options. So we might want to know what the GCLID was, or the UTM parameters or anything like that. And then these terms or these fields could actually be used to show, maybe this Google campaign with this search keyword resulted in a higher conversion rate. And then at the end of the day, when you have these marketing reports, you're going to be able to know, I was only putting 10K into this marketing campaign, and we're finding that this one is actually performing really well. So let's put more money into this campaign. So, without having all those options, without having a great reporting tool like Salesforce, it's difficult to be able to map not only the Google stuff, but kind of map it over to the actual patient in Salesforce. So that gives you the ability to do that. So that's the lead real quick. Then you've got multiple statuses across the top here. So that's a nice kind of easy way to see where you are in the stage with the lead. Maybe you've closed it and referred it out. Maybe this lead is qualified. So a lead is only a lead until you've qualified it. Then you convert it in Salesforce or in Elixir rather. So once you've got this patient, you've got some information, you know that they're coming in with insurance. We're going to convert them, and the lead kind of falls away to the wayside. All the fields that you've collected in the lead are going to get mapped to the account and an opportunity. And typically you're going to be working right out of the opportunity. So an account, just think of the account as like a contact record for your patient, and then the opportunity, I call them opportunities to get sober. You might have multiple opportunities to get sober. This person might come back another year from now and come back in as an alumni. The opportunity, that the existing opportunity would be here in your system, and you would just readmit that patient. And there can be, I don't have it in this system, but there's typically a button that we add that when you click on it, it will just copy all the information from this opportunity and create a new one so that you can go through that process again. So in the opportunity with the patient, you've got multiple stages. So the first stage is obviously you want to collect some information about the insurance. And because I didn't fill out any insurance details, it stayed in the prospecting stage. This might be a cash pay, so I might jump right into the assessment with this one. And I'll show you on another conversion, I'll do the VOB. So when I'm ready to do a pre-assessment, all I have to do is come down here and click New for the pre-assessment. And we have pre-built these assessments so that they pretty much meet all the needs of Joint Commission. They're going to cover all the different dimensions of the criteria of coming to treatment. Maybe, are you currently on a MAT program? Are you willing to take Vivitrol? You might have some current medical conditions. What I would do, typically what I do here is I just, if I'm going to do like a kind of a quick assessment, I'll use that view. But typically that you're going to get more of a little bit more detailed view once you save it and then you open it back up. For instance, I now have these buttons at the top called substance use history. And before we did Elixir, everything would have to have a field. So if you wanted to have multiple substance abuse histories, you'd have to have, fields for alcohol, fields for opiates, fields. So the form just got really long. So we built this really nice widget called substance use history, and we can put in and then maybe I want to add opiates. So I can start adding opiates here. So, and maybe there's more. Maybe I want to have, maybe this person's taking 4 different things. So you can just keep hitting the plus sign. Medications was another thing where I would run out of room when I was on the phone with patients. I would have, maybe 4 fields, and you'd get that really sick person who's on like 12 different medications. Well, with this widget, you're not going to run out of room when you're documenting all this stuff. And treatment history, you might have somebody that's been to 7 treatment centers. And all of this is really good criteria. You don't want to just get the last 3 treatment centers they've been to. You want your UR team to know that they've been to 7 different treatment centers, because when you're getting, authorizations, all of this information is really good to know. It's really going to help. So that's and everything that you add, like a substance use, a medication, treatment, all of this is going to show up here on the side. Approval history is for when, let's say, I get a patient who is like high blood pressure, not taking any medication, right? So I might want to have this assessment approved. So I would go ahead and send this for approval. So assessment requested is actually should say approval requested. So when I change this stage to assessment or approval requested, we're going to change that name. It's actually going to send this pre-assessment to either your clinician, whoever it is that you designate. So you want to send this to the doctor. Maybe the doctor denies it pending medical records. And when he gets that, he might be on his, if he has Salesforce or Elixir, he could have this on his mobile phone. He could be on the run, and he'll get an alert on his phone. It'll pop open the assessment. He can read through it really quick and then approve it and put some notes in there and then send it back. Maybe he wants you to get medical records. So once you get the medical records, you can send it back for approval. He can look at the medical records. You can put the medical records right here in their notes and attachments. So I can attach medical records right here. It stays within the pre-assessment, and the doctor's got everything he needs to make a judgment call here. As insurance, I'm going to pick Ambetter. You can have all your providers in the system. So you could have Ambetter. You could see, then you could run reports later on. What policies did what. So really gives you the ability to see everything that you want to see about policies, about patients, about maybe referral sources. So we're going to save that. And then when we convert this one, we're going to go to the opportunity, and then we'll have a VOB waiting for us. And the way this works is it could be, if your team is doing your VOBs themselves, maybe they hang up with the patient and they do their own VOB. This doesn't matter so much. This is nice when you have like a third party verifier or your own verifier who's not the person on the phone. And what we've seen is that's how a lot of call centers start to set up, is that you want to stay on the phone with the patient, so you're not letting them go. They feel disconnected from you while they're waiting. They're not sure, so they're getting anxious. They might call another treatment center. So we've set this up to have a VOB queue, and when the VOB comes in, it goes into the queue, and it's going to alert someone else who would make this outreach. This is a short form that we did for a customer. We actually have a longer form which adds lots and lots of questions that you would want. You can request the VOB. It can go into an approval. Or it could be denied. Again, if you need any supporting documentation, maybe they want the picture of the insurance card front and back, they could be attached to the VOB, and then you can send it back. So once they deny it and they tell you that you got to get the picture of the card, you upload it, then you request it again and send it back. And while I'm doing the pre-assessment, hopefully this insurance person is working on this insurance, and maybe by the end of the pre-assessment, I've already got the insurance back, and then I go right into trying to, get this person sold on our treatment program. And then maybe it's time for this person to come to treatment. I can collect some information about how they're coming. So we've got a transportation object here that will give you the details of, how they're coming to treatment. Maybe they're coming by plane. We've typically you're going to kind of call and confirm that patient made it to the treatments to the airport. So we're going to reach out to that person kind of maybe a couple hours before their flight. I could put all the flight information, the cost, and the way the transport works pretty cool is that most of the time you're going to have internally your behavior health technician going to the airport to pick somebody up. we would actually, once you save this, it's going to send an email to whoever it is that you want. Maybe it's an email group like transportation at yourtreatmentcenter.com. And that person will get alerted that there's a new flight coming in. They got to be there at a certain time. They could put it on their the board, the delivery or transportation board for the day. And if they cancel the flight, they'll also get another email that'll say that, they missed their travel, and then they can take it off the board. So this is going to help communicate with your transportation, really keep them up to date on the patients that are coming in. And then we have also added payment information. This is an add-on. This is something that a lot of our clients like. This wouldn't be out of the box with your first rollout, but if you wanted to send an invoice to your finance team, maybe for patient's responsibility, or maybe they're coming in for sober living, so they owe $100 a week for some housing, you could actually create the patient's create a payment, this is actually connected to a payment system. So what we're doing right now is we're actually creating the patient in a financial system outside of Salesforce. So when we save that, this Nikki Smith patient just got added to a financial system that helps generate invoices. And then if we open up the payment, we could start adding line items. So maybe we want to put in, this is how you'd actually put in for a payment. So if a payment came in, you could actually put in here that a payment was received. So you can put the payment amount, the date, the mode, and that you collected the payment, and save it. And you could add here the invoice amount and everything like that. You could generate the invoice and mark as the current stage. And then once this is completely paid off, you could just click it as payment collected, and then you would know that this has been satisfied completely. These statuses are really good for tracking and reporting. So maybe you've got 100 patients, all who have some kind of an invoice, and you want to run a report and see who owes what and how much they still owe. And maybe you want to know, has anybody completed their payment? So by having all these different separate objects, you're able to run reports really easily within the system. Most of our treatment centers that we work with, that once this patient has been sold, they've been approved on their assessment, they've been approved on the VOB, they booked some transit, so now they're pending admission. We changed the stage to pending admission, and this is where the integration to your EHR would take over. So basically all the data that you have here would go right to your EHR. And with Elixir EHR, if you would go to pending admission and mark as the current stage, the patient's, this account would actually become the patient's EHR. So you could actually go back to the patient account, and this would become the patient EHR record. So there's no integration needed. Everything would just everything that you've collected up to this point would be part of the record. One thing that I have here too, just to show you, is business accounts. So this would be where I would keep all of my, let's say, treatment centers that I'm working with, that might be sending me referrals. I might be getting referrals from these guys. So you could actually go in and see like any opportunity that's been assigned to this Boca account, that you'd actually see the list of patients here that have been referred by this treatment center to your program. As an outreach coordinator, I would be keeping track of all of my activities here. So I might want to add I could even send an email right from the system. So if I wanted to put an email, maybe I've got a bunch of templates that you guys might create for your outreach team. So maybe you want to do like a HTML, really nice email that they could send some new account. Maybe they're requesting some information. You could put all these templates right into the system, so you could actually leverage pre-built templates and then send them right out from Salesforce. And then it'll show up in your history that, if you want to know, what your outreach team is doing, that's where Salesforce is really powerful, because, as an outreach rep, if I'm calling on, XYZ treatment center, I should be logging the call. If I email from the system, it'll show. Maybe I have a tour at the facility. I have that as an event. There'd be just a list of activities here that as a manager, I can run an activity report, and I could say to my outreach rep, hey, everything looked really good. You got lots of, admits, and you're doing good. Or maybe, hey, you're not getting anybody in, and it doesn't look like you're talking to anybody. There's no activity with these accounts. What's going on? So that really helps, tracking the activities of the patient, of the employees. Inside of Salesforce, this is another great, tool that a lot of people love about Salesforce. This is like having Teams or Slack or whatever all within Salesforce. So I might want to, send a message to someone. So regarding this account, maybe Mark is the account owner, and, let's schedule a tour for this account. So if I share this, Mark is going to get, a ping on his cell phone. He might get an email that says, let's schedule a tour. So or maybe I want to even create a task or something in the system, so I can actually create a standard task for Mark or anybody in the system. So you could actually assign, so this is assigned right now to Abinoff, but I could actually send this to Mark. So you can actually create tasks. So maybe you want to have, follow-up call, and we schedule this for tomorrow. And, as a manager, the status is open. When he completes the call, he's going to complete it. So again, you're going to have a report at the end of the week, maybe, that shows all of Mark's tasks that were assigned to him that week. At the end of the week, there really shouldn't be any tasks left. Everything should have been done. So if I run a report and Mark has still 10 tasks, I might say to Mark, hey, what happened to all these tasks? You were supposed to call this guy on this date, and I don't see a note in the system. It's just going to give you guys that ability to, really manage and oversee, the outreach team more effectively. And you could, each treatment center, so this is Boca, you could have multiple contacts. So you might have multiple people at that treatment center that you're working with, maybe an admissions guy, a CEO, an outreach director. So you could actually add multiple people. And the one thing I don't think I have set up here is for the different accounts, what we recommend is that, you could put like a field like specialties. Maybe this treatment center handles, pregnant females, or they can handle, could be in-network insurance, maybe Aetna in-network. And when we were looking for a treatment center under the business account, this is what they call a list view. So if I had something in there and I was looking for, Aetna, I could go to this search bar and I could type in Aetna and then hit enter. Right now, I don't think I actually have an account called Aetna. But if this was a treatment center that took in-network Aetna, if I had that in the system, I could easily find treatment centers that would match the specialty that my patient would need. and then refer that person out a lot faster. And then I'll get back to the home page here, and this will kind of finish it up. Again, these are a bunch of different things that we built. So we were just talking about the business accounts. There we go. So now we've got all the different treatments, all the business accounts, everything that's in the system as a business account is showing up on this page. So I sorted by all, and you could actually search by different days. So this is all time. So I didn't have anything that came in over the last 30 days. So this is actually going to calculate. So I've got inbound referrals from this account. I've had 11. I've sent this account 5. So I'm actually positive 6. So you could actually see that maybe I'm sending Boca too many. He hasn't sent me any, and I'm, I'm down at a negative 6. I showed you the integration to the payment system. We call that financial census. What you get on the on your homepage is the collection board. So you might have a number of patients that still owe you money, so you want to see what that looks like on your homepage. So this will actually give you, and then you can drill down into this report. We've done the integration to QuickBooks. That again is another add-on. So I just want you to be, I'm trying to call out the things that would be like an add-on. So these custom things are going to be things that would be add-ons.
Right.
But the events, those are all standard. So events and tasks, if I had something assigned to me, it would show up here. These are all my opportunities. So if I want to know patients that I'm working with, I can look at this list, any leads that are assigned to me. And this is another add-on, something that we can add on to the system. We did this for another client. This is the dashboard. So we call this the shift report. A lot of times the patient is not going to admit on the first phone call. So what we've built is the way for you to be able to pass it off to the second shift. And the manager of that shift would be working off of this dashboard. So this is one that we just did here. So you've got bedrooms, you've got houses. We basically build your treatment center inside of Salesforce. And then this is a view called the room view. So these are all the rooms that this treatment center has. They have 47 different rooms. Each room has between 1 and 2 beds. This will show you if it's got an occupant inside of it or not. Occupancy percentage. So if I've got 1 available, 1 occupied, or out of 2, I'm at 50%. We've added these to our census application. So out of order would be if like maybe the room is under construction and you don't want it to show up on your census anymore. So you can actually check this box and it'll take it away. So this originally had, let's say, 37 beds. If I was to take this one out of order, you would be 2 beds down, so at 35. But maybe you don't want to take them off your census. Maybe it's just out of service for the day. Maybe there's something that needs to be done. Maybe they're doing something to the floors, but it's available for the next day. So you can put it out of service, which would still allow you to assign this bed to a patient. But if I assign this bed to the patient while it's out of service, your operations team is going to get an email that says like, hey, this room 00 or 101 is out of service and we're trying to assign a patient here. You also could do a cleaning feature. We just added this where maybe you have some team that cleans the rooms every day or every other day or whatever. We could set this up to where all these boxes get checked automatically at whatever time period they need to be cleaned, and an email will go to your hospitality staff, and they will what they're going to do is they're going to take this report and they're going to uncheck all these boxes, and by the end of the day All these boxes should be unchecked when they've cleaned the rooms. And then if you want to make them under maintenance, you can check them. And if there's anything urgent, maybe if you're walking the floor at the house and you see that something's going on in this room that needs some attention, you can check this box. You know, again, this is all mobile enabled, so you might be on your phone, open up the room view, check the box, and then somebody's going to get a notification that says like, hey, some urgent action is needed here. When I go into the patient's view here, this is how I would, let me go to the opportunity. So in this view, we call it check availability. So I want to look and see, you know, what bed is available. So this page pops up and it's got all of my rooms, and I can see all of the availability numbers and everything, the name of the treatment center, APN Lodge. So I would pick the gender, the admissions date, the discharge date, the program, the treatment center, and then the room. So I could change the room and allocate this person to a different room. And then in the heat map, all my numbers will reflect. So if I open this up, pop this open, and I want to see that report view, I can go to the weekly report, select the treatment center, and then I've got all of my dates. So on the 28th, I'm starting with 73 beds. I'm admitting 1 female, admitting a male, and I'm discharging 3. So I'm left with 69 beds. I've got, I'm at this point, I have no one else admitting or discharging, you see. So the bed count remains 69 for the next few days. If I was to add another person, let's say if they were admitting on the 31st, this would go down to 68, and maybe I'm discharging 2, so it would go up to 70. And that will give you, that's how you forecast beds. And the way I did it before was, you know, through a spreadsheet, and I would never really know how many beds I would have. It would always be like a guesstimate. But this this system will allow you to give exact bed forecasting based on people who are coming and people who are actually leaving the program and how many beds you have. Yeah, what I'm showing on the screen is something we just released. It's called Current Patient View. And we actually give you the ability to put a picture of your patient in there. And this is like a more of a report kind of that you can visually see everyone who's in the treatment center, and it gives you like a synopsis of, you know, date of birth, admit date, treatment center. So, and then you can actually click right on the name. It'll bring you right to the patient's record. If I want to see, those are patients that are here, and then the other button would be patients that are like scheduled to be here. So you can actually switch. You can use the search bar and search for a certain patient, and then they'll automatically pop up. It's pretty nice. And so that would be, that's actually going to be part of the census. This is a new feature that's getting added to the census as we speak.